Going on YouTube, Colorado is here back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be spotlighting Galarian Weezing, but not with slacking, not with neutralizing gas. Okay, we're going to be looking at Misty Surge Weezing. Yes, that's right, Misty Surge. So we're going to bring out the Misty Terrain thanks to this ability. And if you know what that means, yes, that we're fighting for terrain control here. So this is on a team that got top 4 in a recent online tournament. I think it was a Tommy Tuesday tour. Yes, it was. And we're going to look at the team in a second. But the smart pick was Misty Surge Galarian Weezing. And, you know, just looking at what it can do, again, you're just neutralizing all of the Sneasel shenanigans, right? You know, if you're sick of Dire Claw, you're going to bring out Misty Surge. And then, you know, bring out the terrain, and then now you don't have to worry about it. And previously, people were doing stuff like this. They were going with the Alolan Ninetales. They were doing stuff like Clefable, and even the Grimmsnarl here, and even the Boo Boo Keys, the Klefki, and all of these things were trying to tech on Misty Surge, right? Misty Terrain, I should say. Okay, and again, that does a couple things. Not just neutralize the Weezing stuff, but it makes you take reduced damage against dragon type attacks. So again, Draco Meteor, Dragon Pulse, Dragon Claw, all these things don't take much damage. And then even the Scale Shot, you can kind of neutralize yourself into all of those. And then with your fairy typing, you don't even get hit by the Scale Shot anyway. So that was like one of the huge selling points for Clefable right now. The fact that you can redirect the Scale Shot and then not have to really deal with it, right? But now instead of clicking manual Misty Terrain, what you can do now is, you know, put it on a Weezing like this and then just slap it on onto a team. And now you have terrain that you can pivot in and out. And this is also really good against the other 2 terrain users, right? So imagine, again, Rillaboom, and imagine the male Indeedee or even the female Indeedee. Either way, you know, Psychic Terrain and Grassy Terrain. Now you can have control against these guys. Okay, and that means if you take away Psychic Terrain, you can click your priority moves again, like Fake Out, Aqua Jet, Sucker Punch, whatever it may be. You get to click it. Same thing with the Rillaboom. You take away the Grassy Terrain. Now it just doesn't do as much damage with the Grassy Glide and the Windhammer. So that's why these two have been fighting, you know, for a while now. You know, just to grab that terrain control. And now you can even consider the Weezing. Okay, and Weezing's pretty good into Rillaboom too, because again, you have poison damage. You know, for the grass type there, and at the same time you are fairy type, so you can put pressure into those dragons as well, right? So lots of good utility out of this Galarian Weezing, and we're gonna look at the set that they were running, but I want to show you a couple of EV spreads here just so that you can understand what, you know, what you can do here. But you can technically just go for like a damaging Weezing like Modest. We've seen this before with like Wolf Glick's team when he was doing like the choice spec stuff. But if you want Protect, you can definitely go with the Life Orb idea, which is exactly what PolaroidVGC and RxPainkiller were going for. They were the makers of the team. They were piloting the team. And both of them are you know, Pokemon VGC tournament organizers. They're judges too. I think Polaroid is manager for Team New Jersey for United States Pokemon Association. So, you know, shout outs to them. And I know Painkiller has like a shop, right? So hopefully, you know, he came up with a smart idea here, which is why I wanted to feature this. But this is what they were doing. They were doing Life Orb Weezing, okay? And they were doing Sludge Bomb, okay? And the Strange theme, okay? So your 2 stab moves. But now you also get to keep the identity of Weezing, you know, with the support set, you know, by having Haze, right? So now you get to remove Dondozo buffs. You get to remove Bulk Up, you know, Swords Dance ideas, Nasty Plot ideas. You get to remove all of that. And that's really good because, again, this has some good viability now, right? Misty Surge and Haze is something that we don't really get to have. Okay, and now Weezing can do that for you on the team, right? But just to show you some EV spreads here, so you can do this a few ways. You can go like a little bit slower with the Modest set. You can go up to about 76 EVs here, 90. So this way, under a Tailwind, you get to outspeed the Mouse Hold stuff, which is also pretty nice. You know, again, all you need is 180 for that department. And then after that, you can just go like Modest 196. This is already good enough. And then just put 1 point in the bulk here. All right, and then you can dump the rest here into HP, right? And which is pretty convenient because again, we're also optimizing for the Life Orb chip damage here. So this is already pretty good. Like again, 169. Again, making sure that you're hitting that threshold of 9, not bypassing it. So for example, if I were to do this 170. Now 170 divided by 10, because of the life orb chip, you're taking 17 points of damage. You undercut it by 169. Now you're only taking 16 points of damage, because 169 divided by 10, 16.9 rounds down to 16, right? So this is one type of set that you can definitely do with this Weezing. Or if you want to take a little bit off, if you want to go like 159 over here, or even like 149, you could definitely do that and dump the rest here into special defense, right? If you want to go a little bit more bulky in that regard, that's also really cool. Again, the speed tier is going to be set at 90. But if that's not fast enough for you, let's say you wanted to go something like this. Let me reset some of these EVs. Let's go about 132. Okay, so like 96, right? So under Tailwind, that's gonna outspeed the Jolly Dondozos, and then you get to hit him with the haze, right? Let me just check that real quick. Yeah, so you need 96, so you can definitely do like 96, and then just do a little bit of speed creeping and going up to 192 there. So that's also fine, 132, I should say. And then after that, then you can go for your bulk again. So you can just drop. Let's go about 116 here, right? So you can do something like this, go back to 169 here, 1 point in the defense here, and then dump the rest here into special defense. You can definitely do something like this as well, right? If that is something that you're interested in trying to outspeed the Dozo and going for the haze, that's fine. Or you can go even faster, right? And just do this. So you're going to sacrifice all your bulk almost and just go up to about 107, okay? And this is fast enough under Tailwind, again, to outspeed a Dragapult, right? So you can do this and then just go up to 196 again, and then just dump the rest here into your HP stat, right? You can even do it like this, and then there you go, a little bit more points there in the sped def department. So some EVs that you could do with like this more offensive Weezing, right? And I've been trying, you know, all three when I was using their team, and they all seem to work, right? It just really depends on what you want to do and decide on this type of Weezing set, okay? But yeah, let's show you the team. So this way you get to see what exactly both of them were cooking up here. Okay, so here it is. It was in the Tommy Tuesday tour, and a pretty decent size at that, right? 83 people, that's pretty good on a weekday night. And here it is, Polaroid, again, piloting it to 6-3, top 4 results. There's that Life Orb Weezing here. And listen, it is on a Pelipper Archelidon Rain team, right? So that makes sense. Again, you get to have control against the Rillabooms, against the Indeedis. It does a lot for you, right? And then, again, this Pelipper Arc stuff is pretty standard. They have Dragon Pulse here. Of course, we are Draco Meteor advocates, right? But, you know, to each their own. That's totally fine. Just don't click this in Misty Surge, right? And you can see this is where our Tailwind is coming from. Then we have the Basculegion, right? So you have the Rain mode solidified here. It's a Bandit Basculegion with Terra Water, so you're going to try and do as much damage as you can. Then we have Clefable. This is another cool choice here, and it makes a lot of sense because, again, you get to redirect all the fighting coverage against the Archelidon, and you want to protect that thing, right? So that's really nice. And again, Rocky Helmet with Unaware, also good combination. Redirect the physical stuff, break their sash, right? Especially with the Rocky Helmet. And after that, you know, Moonblast, Follow Me, Protect, Helping Out. This is pretty good. Again, standard set here with the Clefable. Okay, the only thing that's a little odd here is the Mousehold here. Like, I don't mind, you know, a White Lens Technician Population Bomb Mousehold. I don't know about After You on this. Okay, I was looking at that. I was like, that's not Follow Me, that's After You. And, you know, Mousehold, oh, it's okay. It's on some of these Tailwind teams, but I like to see a Steel type here. I like to see something like Goldango set up with Nasty Plot. I also want to see maybe something like King Gambit with Black Glasses, Swords Dance, Protect, right? Because look, you've got the Clefable already. Let's add the Goldango. Let's redirect, you know, the dark type attacks. Let's redirect the fighting type attacks too. And then, you know, with King Gambit here, again, the fighting weakness is shared with the Archelidon, but again, you can redirect, you can set up your Swords Dance, and then from there, Follow Me or Helping Hand and just start nuking, right? +2, you know, Goldango, clicking Make It Rain. I think is pretty cool. So that would be like my personal adjustment here, but I don't mind these 5. These 5 is like pretty solidified here. I've seen Clefable on Archelidon teams before. I'm not quite sure why the Mousehold is here. I think both of them are going to have to enlighten me on that one. But this is a pretty cool squad. So what I want to do is I want to showcase it a little bit. So I'm going to slap on my own EVs onto this 6. I won't change anything else. We'll add our EVs, and then we'll test it out in a few games. So this way you can see for yourself the viability of this type of Galarian Weezing. All right, we're back here into the Showdown Team Builder, and we're gonna slap on some EVs onto some of these mons here. So we got Terra Ghost Weezing here, so that's a smart move here. Let's go fast here a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna hate it, so let's go about 132 here, and that should be like okay. So this is again meant for the Jolly Dondozos. I don't think I'm worried too much about Dragon Bolt here. I like to still have some bulk on this. But let's just go max special attack here. I think 150 with the Life Orb. Even then, still doesn't do so much damage, but it's still like okay for what we wanted to do, right? Then we'll go to about 149 here and dump the rest here into special defense. I think this is okay, all things considered. And that's really all I want out of my Weezing here. Just to, you know, have max special attack here with the Life Orb, take advantage. And outspeed just exactly what I need to outspeed here, right? So we'll keep it there. This will also outspeed most Primarinas for that matter. You know, they tend to float around the high 80s, low 90s for the same reason. Under Tailwind, outspeeding Dondozo to Click Haze. Now we get to outspeed them and do the same thing, right? The Clefable here. So the defense is a little bit weaker than the special defense, right? So we're going to go for a more physical defensive nature. Let's go Bolt here. Let's max the HP. And let's go to the bump right here into the defense. And then dump the rest here into special defense here. So again, here's the bump, right? 132. If you're trying to get better at competitive Pokemon and you're trying to learn how to create EV spreads, right? Especially like stuff like this. Make sure you comment below asking what are EV bumps. I will respond to you. I will reply to you because it's a very fundamental skill to understand when you're trying to create complex EVs, right? The bumps are always your starting benchmarks. They may not be finalized, but they're always good to go for when you're still trying to test out a team and, you know, jump onto the ladder with your squad, right? But the general rule is this. In the natured stat, right, you're going to see 3 distinct points where the stat increases by 2 points instead of 1 when you move the slider to represent your investment in your EVs, right? And the general rule is that after every bump, you're going to need 80 EVs every time to see the next bump, okay? So I'm going to show it to you real quick here with Clefable, so this way at least you can understand and see it visually. And I have a whole team building video on this. If you Google my channel, how to, you know, what are EV bumps, we do this, but at least I want to show it to you here, right? So let's take a look at Clefable here. So no investment in defense. It's just straight 102. So let's start moving the slider. Now we go 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, and then finally 110. Look at this. What happened to 109? You skipped one, right? Is that magic? No, it's not magic. It is what we call an EV bump here, and it happens at 52 EVs, right? So that means the next time this happens is every 80 EVs. So 52 plus 80, right, is going to give you 132. So just take a look here as we go forward. You see this? Now it's 119, and then it goes to 121 here. You skipped 2 points, right? Then another 80, of course. That's all I have left here, so you're going to see it anyway. But I'll go slower this time, so this way you can see one by one. Again, you can see it's only going up by 1, but eventually once you start hitting that last point there, which is what we are right here, so 130, it doesn't go to 131, it goes to 132. There it is, right? 3 EV bumps there, 52, okay, 132, and then 212, all right? But again, if it's still not clear, comment below asking what are EV bumps, and I'm going to re-explain it to you and re-show it to you. Otherwise, just watch my video previously on the channel that shows that. All right, Arkeladon here. So I'm just going to go with the same Arkeladon I've been using lately. Hasn't failed me at all. I'm just going to put enough speed here. Again, I'm Tailwind to outspeed Dragapult. Let's hit the second bump here in Modest Nature going at 116. And this investment here with max HP and 124 defense, this is going to survive the close combat from a Sneasler. All right, Pelipper here. After this, these guys, they're just going to be 252, 252, right? I got a Sash Pelipper here. I'm just going to go Timid here. Basculegion, same thing. Max speed, max attack, of course. You can go Jolly, you can go Adamant. I was testing Adamant. I like the damage. And then the Maushold here, same thing. If you do still decide to stay with it, you know, you can do this. I tested out Goldango / Gamma, and it was working just fine, right? I wasn't really even using this Maushold. Maybe I just don't know where to bring it in those matchups, but I was bringing a lot of Gambit and Goldango, so that was just like my change here. But this still works, I'm sure, right? But anyway, these are just some general EVs, right? So we're gonna post it here, so this way you get to try it yourself. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to showcase it in a couple of battles. So this way you can see how the team plays overall and see how the Weezing can, win you a lot of games. Okay, this is a weird sand team here. He's got Talonflame, he's got Tyranitar, and then he's got Indeedee, and then the Garganacl there. There's a low kicks and a Decidueye here. Not really sure what this guy's supposed to be doing here. But either way, I think our rain mode is just going to be too strong for him. I think there's too many weaknesses to it here. So it's going to be Indeedee here, and it's going to be Tyranitar. That's okay. So look at this. I'm going to go Pelipper here, and I'm going to go Basculegion, right? So I have the weather here, okay? Actually, he has the weather, and he has terrain. But look at this. We're going to go into Weezing now. We're going to take away his terrain. All right, I'm going to go Terra Water, and I'm going to just immediately remove the Tyranitar. So late game, I can have the weather myself, right? There's the Expanding Force. Again, we live, right? It did a lot, but it's still fine, okay? So there's no more terrain on his side. I can go for my priority moves later if I want to. There's Talonflame. This is fine, okay? So I'm going to switch out, preserve it. I'm going to go into Archeladon now, and he got greedy. He went for the Brave Bird, okay? I get my defense boost there. He chips himself, and now I can go for my own tail, and now I get to outspeed. But he goes for Trick Room. Very smart play, actually, from that Indeedee. So now Expanding Force, only one target there. He removes my Pelipper because of the double up there, but this is still okay. I could have actually just gone for the Talonflame there, but I was doing the Pelipper, using the Pelipper for that, so I just only chipped the Indeedee here. But this is fine, right? Because now I can click Aqua Jet. There's no Psychic Terrain. It doesn't really matter. Expanding Force doesn't kill the Basculegion, and now I can charge up and just go for the Indeedee kill right now. And now this is good. Now it's a 2-on-1. He can't do anything else here. There is one turn of Trick Room here. 2 turns actually, and he has it. But again, Aqua Jet is doing so much damage. Terra Rock Garganacl has no business doing this. Okay, and now we just clean things up with our Archeladon, right? So we were able to make a trade early on, right? We got rid of the Tyranitar, and then we got rid of the terrain, right? We took the terrain, and then we took the weather later on. And that's kind of how you have to use the team a little bit. When you want to fight for weather and fight for terrain, you can do that as long as you pivot and position correctly. Okay, this is like some weird old school Dondozo team there. There's the Dondozo Tatsugiri. There's the Flamigo. That means he's probably doing the Toxic Orb nonsense. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was Final Gambit Annihilate there, right? So here's what I want to do. I think this is where like Clefable is going to really come into play, and so will the Haze Weezing. I will need the Tailwind from the Pelipper, and then Archeladon should be able to help me clean up in the end stuff, right? So there's Tatsugiri, there's Annihilate, so very interesting enough. But here's the Clefable, and here is my Weezing here, right? So again, there's Endure Tatsugiri, right? So I'm gonna go for Follow Me. There is in fact the Final Gambit, so there's the trade-off there. We get to chip the Tatsugiri here. Strange Steam does a lot of damage, okay? But here comes Dondozo, right? So he gets all his buff. Now I'm gonna go into Pelipper. So all I need to do is just make sure the Weezing is preserved here. So I'm just gonna protect and Tailwind turn 1 first. And I know next turn I will outspeed because again, I do have Haze on this team, right? So there's the Tailwind. Okay, now he goes into Terra Dragon Dozo. That's fine. We get to Hurricane it first. A little bit of chip. There's the Haze, and now Dondozo is a sad puppy. There it is. That's all you got to do, right? This will do a decent chip to Weezing because it's super effective, but not that much because it's not stab, and he got all his buffs removed. So he plays a little chicken, and he decides to forfeit. What did you think was going to happen, right? So again, that's what I'm saying. This is why you also use Weezing. It has Haze control, and these Dondozo players, they just cry and they just go home. Okay, this one's a little more standard. This is Talonflame Dragapult stuff. There is King Gambit at the same time with Rillaboom, and there is the Premier. This is okay. All right, so he's going to go Talonflame, and he's going to go with his Rillaboom there. That's fine. We're going to go Pelipper, our own bird, and our own Weezing. So we have our own terrain user, and guess what? We're slower, so this way we get to override it, right? So I'm going to go Terra Ghost just in case he decides to go for the Fake Out. There's the Tailwind. He goes for U-turn. Smart play to try and reset his terrain. It's going into Premier, but guess what? That thing is also weak to poison. So this ends up being really good for me. I get some good value out of this with that Sludge Bomb there. Of course, the Pre-Marina lives, but this is fine. This is also why Specs Weezing is also very strong, right? So he can't Fake Out, so I don't need to protect the Weezing here. I'm just going to protect Pelipper first, and he did it anyway. I don't know why he did that. But there's the Sludge Bomb into the Weezing. We get to poison it. There's some good value there. And now all the pressure is with us because, again, I still have my Sash on my Pelipper. I still have the aggression early on. But I'm going to reposition to the Archeladon. He's going to try and remove it, okay? But we soak that up. And now the Weezing also gets to stay alive. We have a little bit of bulk. This is why you invest those kind of EVs the way we invested to get that much special defense bulk. And now the Rillaboom is stuck here, taking poison chip damage, and eventually he will just fall. Here comes Basculegion. There's the Gambit again. This is fine. Obviously, I'm going to go into Pelipper just in case. And there is a Wood Hammer, so the Rillaboom just removes itself. But now Arkeladon can just click body presses. The game is over. There's a Swords Dance. That's not going to matter. And then there it is, right? So, again, we got the terrain control early. We forced him to pivot out, and he took so much damage, right? So it ended up being like a pin. And because of that, that Primarina was not really able to do anything. And then when he came in with Gambit, it was just already too late. He was already so far behind. All right, this is like Manual Sun with Typhlosion there and the Ninetales. I haven't seen the regular Ninetales in a hot minute. There's the Annihilate, Dragonite, and Blood Moon Ursaluna. That's a very fearsome trio. There is an Electivire here. For some reason, I couldn't tell you, right? But this is, again, another good game where Weezing can do something because there's an Annihilate, there's a Dragonite there. We can haze and we can put pressure with our Fairy type damage. And the Pelipper is going to be important here to grab control against the Ninetales and the Typhlosion at the same time, right? So, what does he do? He's going for the Electivire first. He's going to try and remove my Pelipper. Absolutely, I don't blame him, right? But here's what we do. We're Basculegion. We outspeed. We have Terra Water. We nuke. Electivire drops. This is why you don't use this thing, okay? And we get to click Hurricane on the Annihilate. There was no Terra. That's great damage. Drain Punch, not going to do anything. Not sure why he's clicking that to a flying type there. But overall, we have the Weather. There's Dragonite. This is fine. We go into Weezing. Okay, we get the Misty Terrain out. We go for Tailwind. And there's the Rage Fist. That's okay. And there's the Scale Shot. You see? This is why you use a Weezing. You get to sit in front of the Scale Shot like this. He did not get the boost. We have all the pressure on him. Okay, extreme speed, decent damage. But again, because he did that, that means, again, you know, he is loaded dice. He's not banded, and we get confusion there. Pelipper still is going strong here, right? Annihilate is getting recovery. I'm going to go into Arkeladon now, just in case. And he hits himself in confusion, which is great for me. More strange steam damage. Goodbye, Annihilate. And now we have control over this Dragonite. It's Typhlosion now. Not really going to do a whole lot here. We still have Tailwind support. Goes Terrafire. Again, at this point, it's pretty moot. We still have all the advantage. We have all the speed control. We have the terrain. And the Dragonite just drops. Weezing, removing the Annihilate and the Dragonite is crazy. He went for Eruption, for some reason, instead of Heat Wave. I don't know, but that's pretty much it. You already know what comes next. The Typhlosion just immediately gets removed. But the Weezing was extremely strong here. Okay, this is that Snorlax team that Aaron Zhang featured, right? The Snorlax stuff with the Scyther. Again, unfortunately for our opponent, we also watch Aaron's channel. So we already know this team. But again, there's no real threat here. Again, we will have weather control. We will have terrain control at the same time. And he doesn't really have that much of a way to really set himself up here. So there's the Indeedee and there's the Snorlax. That's fine. We already know what's coming. But look at this. We have Pelipper and Basculegion yet again. So we have a few options here. All right. Of course, the main option is just hit the Indeedee super hard. Follow Me comes out. Goodbye, Indeedee. All right. And then we get to click Weather Ball on our Pelipper. We get to nuke the Snorlax. Deal very good chip damage into it. And now he does go for his Belly Drum. No Berry, though. He does maximize his attack, but that's fine. No Trick Room came out. We have everything on our side. Okay, there's the Custap Berry. Okay, he goes for a Rock Slide. He misses the Basculegion. That could have actually removed us. So it's a good strategy, but because he missed, now he fails. And now we click the Weather Ball there, and the Snorlax drops. And, he only had one Berry anyway, so it's fine. But now here comes Torkoal. That's really all that's left here. And he has just no choice but to forfeit. So Custap Snorlax, pretty good, but not enough here. Okay, another type of Charizard Sun team. Again, some familiar ideas with Dragonite and the Annihilate there. Again, that means we're definitely bringing the Galarian Weezing over here with our terrain control. So we'll still have weather advantage, right? There's the Whimsicott. So the idea here is if he wants to click Manual Sunny Day, we're going to click Weather Ball, which is, again, a fire type attack into the Whimsicott. So this is also where I decided to bring out the Maushold, because if he's going for Sunny Day, that means he's not going for Tailwind. And if he did not go for Sunny Day, then the Charizard doesn't do all that much damage in the rain anyway. So I was fine regardless. And now here's the Weather Ball damage into the Whimsicott. And this is how we created that pin, right? So now here comes Annihilate. This is fine. No harm done here. Tailwind comes out. He goes for Bulk Up. I'm not really afraid of that. And there, again, we just nuke with Mousehold and Population Bomb. So Mousehold actually coming into this game. But there's our Tailwind now. And now we also outspeed. There's a Dragonite here. But again, just more nuking. I'm going to go into Weezing. For the terrain control, I'm going to go Terra Normal on this mouse. He's going to go with the E-Speed, but he went into the other slot. So now we just click Mouse Bomb here. Population Bomb. I said Mouse Bomb, right? So Dragonite just gets removed here. Now he just has the Annihilate. And there's not really much he can do now. There is Drain Punch there, but he was already full. So he can definitely still do that if he wants. But now we go into Pelipper. We get the weather back on our side. Okay, Hurricane comes out here. Do some damage. And Rage Fist over here. It's okay. And there's the Haze. I wanted to Haze first. I guess I should have attacked. Would it have mattered? I don't think so. But now that just made him forfeit, after seeing all of that. All right, but yeah, there's the pace. Again, we're going to link this in the video description if you want to try it out yourself. This is not their team, by the way. The EVs. The squad itself is theirs, but we just slapped on EVs. I think they're going to keep you the secret for now, but that's okay. So you can feel free to try out our version if you want to test it out yourself. Like I said, for us, I would use a Gambit or a Goldengo in that Mousehold slot. But again, Mousehold is playing a role there. So if you want to still use that, you can definitely do so if you want to. All right, but that's going to do it for now, folks. Let me know what you think of Misty, Surge, Galarian Weezing with Haze support, along with the 2 stat moves there. All right, is it something that we could see rise a little bit? Maybe, who knows? It's nice to have terrain control, right? And you have weather control here. You have redirection here. You have speed control. So you have a lot of things going on with the core 5, right? But yeah. All right, we'll be back. See you guys. Peace out. Have a good one.